Orchos Chaim. We are up to Simon Kuf Zayin. Os Kuf Zayin. Alti kapdana davar muat. Don't be finicky is not the right term. Don't be how do I say makbid in English? Don't be meticulous. No, the right word. Don't be up uptight. Don't be unyielding. Don't be makbid on the davar muat for a small thing. Neged shemadim, relative to anybody in the world, even somebody who himself is insignificant, or you have perhaps a legitimate reason to be opposed to, because that's not going to end well. You gather enemies for naught. In other words, to be so unyielding, unbending, so rigid with somebody else, even if they're an insignificant person, you think, but enemies are enemies. So therefore, never be makbid if you don't have to be makbid. It's a very good lesson for people who are teachers, rabbeim, and so on and so forth, even for their talmidim. Don't be makbid. You never know why that it might not cause animosity, and that animosity might have far-reaching negative repercussions. And I have in mind when I say that specifically the kebedos which some of my rabbeim had, which almost drove me off, and certainly the kebeda that my children's rabbeim have had and have had very negative repercussions. It's just not worth it. It will cause them to hate the Torah, hate Judaism, hate, and that's just an example. Obviously, in all areas of life, this is equally of an issue. Kufches alti lahut ledas hastorim shvenam b'chaber of davar chus merach. Don't be don't have a bren, don't have a drive to know things which are secrets between your friend and his friend, or maybe your two friends, but between other people, and something which is concealed from you. There's probably a reason, from hashgacha, that it's concealed from you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu would reveal it to you if it was necessary for you. That's a bit of bitachon, to know, to assume that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what you need to know and what you don't need to know. And B, it can just lead to resentment and negativity, and it needs to lead to you have a burden to have to remember not to reveal this thing, and that in of itself can cause all sorts of difficulties because it's very hard to keep a secret. So don't try and know secrets in order that you shouldn't have to keep a secret and suffer the negative ramifications thereby. Kuftes, this is a very sad thing because people, including myself, do this all the time. You should not do things in secret that if there are things which will be revealed, they would embarrass you. Don't see who sees me. First of all, Kodesh Baruch Hu sees you. That's obvious. That's the difference between a Ganav who page 9 and a Gazan who plays only one time, because a Ganav also Ayin Shamalku ain't a roa. But besides that, so obviously it's a lack of emunah to do in secret something which you would be embarrassed to in public. But besides that, like we say by conversations, Gam Of Shamayim Yolichas Hakol, that the bird can hear what you say and transmit it. So too, you never know who's actually going to be watching. You assume nobody's watching. Again, besides that, Kosh Baruch Hu asked me. So he's watching, but you never know, as was the case with Dasan Ravir and Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu thought nobody was watching, but lo and behold, somebody was watching. You never know. Kufirav, Al Tismoch Matnas Bosa B'Dam, B'Tava L'Rakesh B'Zosecha. Well, this is a term Derech Eretz statement. Don't rely on gifts. Don't rely on people who are generosity people, but rather you have to work to quest for your sustenance. In other words, you should be independent as much as possible. As independent doesn't mean that you have to be your own boss, but it means that you have to not rely on gifts. Rather, if you're relying on others, well, you totally have the paspalter, right? So it's always a source of anxiety and stress and tension if you're dependent on others, right? But if you're independent in the sense that you have the capacity to accomplish on your own, that means that you've less stress, less tension, less anxiety, and also that you have more of a satisfaction in that which you do accomplish, and it's more meaningful to you, and you're going to appreciate and enjoy it more. Kufiyat Beis, Aye Momon Shalcha Chaviv Alech Yosem Migufcha, Kmo Lavor Ala Meches V'Leches Yichidi. Your money should not be more precious to you than your life. Famous Jack Benny line. Robert comes to him and says, your money, your life. And Jack Benny doesn't answer. And Robert says, no. And Jack Benny says, I'm thinking. So we don't think these things. Right? Your money should never be more precious to you than your body. And therefore, you should not take chances like trying to get through customs without paying proper customs, or get through tax without paying proper tax. And also you shouldn't go alone by yourself without a companion, because in these cases you indicate that your money is more valuable to you than your life, and that is A, stupid, and B, it can be a kitrug in shamayim, that you're a prosecution in shamayim, that you're not paying attention to what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to pay attention, which is to safeguard your life over anything else. Yukufya Gimel, Al titain levavcha kina. Do not be jealous. Don't put jealousy in your heart. In other words, it's not intrinsically in your heart, jealousy. You have to think about something. You have to notice it and contemplate it and develop the thought in order to have kinah. It's not automatic, something which comes automatically. It comes from gazing, contemplating, and desiring. So don't put it in your heart. Don't let it in. Because jealousy is a terrible disease which has no healing, because there's the shot in jealousy is not if I got that thing, I'd be happy. I'd find something else to be jealous about. So therefore, jealousy is just a snowball effect, and it gets worse and worse. You have to stop, nip in the bud, and never be jealous. Don't contemplate becoming jealous. Again, don't let that into your heart. Don't place it in your heart. Don't take an oath by your body, even if it's not true. Evidently, there's this concept of tiftak bela. So often, don't words are powerful, and don't say words which chas v'sholom can come about to be like a kind of negative tefillah, right? To make oath on your body, even if it's not true, because you never know. Maybe something's a little bit untrue, and therefore it's going to come back to you and haunt you. Most people, including myself, put off tshuva as long as possible. So it's not a good policy. You never know when the end is nigh. Never know when you won't get a chance. So therefore, don't tarry. Look for the refuah sacholi of nefesh immediately, quickly, not slowly. Kuf al tamo la ruach. Don't toil for wind. In other words, don't seek hot air. And don't listen to idle chatter. A person has to always have a certain gravitas, a certain perception of self-value, which is going to preclude a person from working to hear just words, ruach, or dvarim b'teilim. People toil lo ruach. In other words, people toil could mean people toil for vapid purposes, for empty purposes, but it also means people toil in order to hear gossip. And this is also something which both things are not good, because obviously it's not constructive. If anything, it's destructive. And that's certainly Dvarim B'Teilim, even though it might not be as bad, but Dvarim B'Teilim also is destructive, because if you're not being constructive, you're being destructive. The middle ground is not really extant, because the person either going down. Now, a person going like this constantly, but it's micro ups and micro downs. So you have to be careful. Al Tachana is Kufasain. Al Tachana Shemer Chaverecha Ki Hamachana Shem Chaver Elchei L'Gomabah is obviously straightforward for the Gemara, that you should not have describe a person with a nickname, because the nickname can cause them with degradation, embarrassment, and we know that if you are a person who degrades, embarrasses your friends, you are not a good candidate for Olam Haba. I think we'll leave for next time. It's a fascinating one. I'll leave it for now.